Hi guys, so this time we start something different. So before we were building armored vehicles, now I decided to get back to roots a bit, let's say it this way, because my first models were aircraft, so I decided to build this one. It's, as you can see, armahobby F4F-4 Wildcat, but in 1/72 scale, and also it's an expert set, so we also get decals, masks and P parts for this aircraft. So in 1/72 scale it should be quite fun to build. And just to remind you, we have here several marking options, so there are 6 of them to be exact. I'm not decided, to be honest, which one I will pick for my build, so I will see during the build and I will announce it in this video. But overall I think all of them are quite interesting. As far as I remember, there were some also bonus marking options, so it will be interesting to assemble them, and of course it will also show how the whole kit gets together. So let's open the box and start the process. Okay, so here is what we have inside. As you can see, as I said before, we have the P parts supplied, and of course from the opposite side you will see these pre-cut masks. In my opinion, they will greatly contribute to the overall use and ease of the assembly, so this is a nice bonus, but I will put it aside for now because definitely we will not be using P parts right away. And now I'm looking at this cockpit parts here, so we have the instrument panel and also seat belts, so I guess we will be using the seat parts straight away. Next, it's one of the initial releases from armahobby, so that's why we have this clear sprue packed without any plastic bag. Really nice molding quality, so there is nothing to complain about, but again we put it aside because we don't need it. Here is the gray plastic sprue, as you remember, with all the mix of parts. We have cockpit parts, tail wings, also we have landing gear wheels. As far as I remember, yeah, landing gear wheels are one piece, which is really cool, and we have the fuel tanks here, and all plastic is really smooth. That's something what I did not note in the video review, but I have to say that the overall surface quality is really good here. And last but not the least is this big sprue. So here we have fuselage halves and wing parts. For the fuselage halves, as you can see, we do not get anything inside. There are only minor features, so all of other stuff will be added with separate elements. But I really like that we have the engine. I will try to play a bit with these parts. And then we have assembly manual, of course. So here I will close the lenses a bit so that you can see what is actually printed here. Of course, the history note, the parts map, also paint chart. I already have all the necessary paints, I hope. And inside we have decal sheet. So here we have also decals for the interior. I will try to use the P parts which are supplied because it would be a shame not to try them. That's why these decals will not be used. But assembly process starts, as you can see, with the cockpit. So we begin with the pilot seat, and again right away you will be using P parts because they will be used not only for the seat belts but also for this special tab on the pilot seat. They will be used also for the instrument panel. They will be used also for, I think I saw some handles here. Yeah, here you can see that it will be used for the upgrade of the side consoles. So this all looks quite understandable, so let's take the sprue A and separate the cockpit floor, separate the rear wall and start gluing everything together. So here you can see the result of cockpit assembly, and let's remember that this is a 1/72 scale cockpit, and as you can see we still get seat belts, we get a nice instrument panel, we get a lot of decals for the cockpit, so everything looks nice together. And now it's a matter of putting it inside the cockpit. So the cockpit, well, manufacturer suggests to put it into one cockpit half and then assemble everything together, so it will be quite an interesting thing to do, and also it will be a chance to check the fitment of the parts together. One more finished thing is the engine. So engine is also quite detailed here. You can see that we have here P parts applied, and I was touching it just to show you the scale, but you can also notice that we get the stencils here. Stencils in 1/72 scale engine, which is really impressive in my opinion. What I did on this engine, I applied some washes also, and I also applied some different colors, as you can see, for these push rods, but that's pretty much all. And now it will be installed onto the engine mount, which is assembled separately. Here you can see the cockpit in place in the fuselage. I also assembled the wheel bay, and engine is not glued into place, it's just for display purposes. So the next step will be actually to add the fuselage half, so basically to close the fuselage and then to add the tail wings and also rudder, and also assemble the cowling, assemble the wing, attach everything, and as usual we will move to the priming stage. So overall fitment, as you can see, is quite easy. The only tricky part is to get these parts in place, but once you get hang of it, it will be quite good. And also for the fuselage halves, you can see that we have guiding elements in all necessary spots, so it won't be difficult to get these fuselage halves together. So here you can see the result of applying or airbrushing two colors. So I used the Mr. Color paints, and it was quite easy to apply. Well, a bit difficult to get the right flow, but it worked, as you can see. I also applied the pre-shading, so I got this quite contrasty look, and I think it suits to show a bit weathered aircraft, but it's up to your taste, because some modders prefer a bit more subdued look. But now the next stage is to apply decals, which I have here. So the marking option which I chosen is here. It's a marking option number 5. So now it is for the application of all decals on the aircraft. So here you can see the final result of the build with this F4 Wildcat, and I have to say that overall kit was quite nice and easy to assemble. There were a few moments which required some attention, but otherwise it's quite an easy thing to do, and I think all fans of 1/72 scale, they will like it. And here you can see that I did not use any aftermarket, so basically it's out of the box build. and all the parts are standard, even this PE on the engine and PE here in the cockpit. I decided to keep the cockpit closed because, well, I did not want to expose the cockpit. And overall, what I can say is that the only thing where I had some minor issues is the fitment of the cockpit inside the fuselage house, but otherwise it looks like really good model, which I can recommend to all fans of 1/72nd scale. And of course I will be happy to hear your opinion about this release. Do not forget to write it in the comment section, and if you like this video, write it in the comment section below and press the like button, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye.